What's up, everyone? I am Ernest Dove of the Dove Report. Let's talk New York Mets winning too much. It's something I do want to respectfully and professionally bring up and talk about with you guys. As we've known, every year now under Steve Cohen's ownership, the Mets have all of their top draft picks penalized 10 spots every year, even while losing like this year. But here's the thing, they were losing so much pre-deadline, they're kind of securely in the top 6 at the moment per MLB Tankathon, one of those websites you pay attention to when your team doesn't do well for many years. I wanted to get into some of my thoughts about some of the obvious. Some of the fans, of course, are like, dude, you win. You know, you never want to lose on purpose. You don't want to watch losing. You're a fan of the team. Let them win. I want to get into some of the stuff that could prevent the New York Mets from continuing to win as they've done recently since the trade deadline. Obviously, they just got shut out for a game while still pitching well. Speaking of pitching, I think if the Mets kind of lose out on a top 6 pick by winning too much, I think it's going to be because of the pitching, both starters and relievers. Even talking with people in the Mets organization, they also know as well, if anything, it's going to come down to the bullpen. But I have to add in the extra caveat of the starting pitching. It was mentioned even by Guerra last night on SNY. Even McClain, who was dominating low enough pitch count, he still gets removed. You could even say that Nolan McClain is going to be on an innings limit of some sort this year. Then you have guys both coming off injuries in Zach Thornton and Christian Scott. How many innings are they going to pitch per week, let alone for the rest of the season? That's 3 guys in your rotation with iffy-ish kind of limits, caps, something on their pitches per outing, and even their innings overall for the rest of the season. What can the Mets do to kind of figure this out? My suggestion would be possibly bring up Jonah Tong and give a roster spot to Jack Wenninger. Although even people online, like my online friend Diane, just messaged us social media saying, hey, there's a lot of manipulation going on with front offices, especially with this possible kind of strike and everything else. It may not be wise to add any more new prospects to the 40-man with one of those implications of who can play, not play when you're on the 40 versus not being on it. The minor leaguers do have a union, but it's a slightly different players union. So that's why things are confusing. But if it was up to me, I would call up Jonah Tong, have him be maybe a piggyback starter for one of these guys. Then you still have guys like Robert Stock, who I'm glad he's back. I'm not sure how many innings he can pitch anyway per week. He might be another guy that needs to be piggybacked weekly. The only guy who doesn't would be Sean Manaea. And the never-ending question mark, of course, is Kodai Senga. Is he now a closer? Which technically the Mets still need bullpen, which brings me to the bullpen situation. We have a lot of talented arms, but then as you're seeing, same with the starters, but different. You have guys coming back from injuries like the lefty Nate Lavender and Daniel Nunez, who, by the way, they did try to pitch a second inning with Nunez. They're trying to pitch them as much as they can. But again, these are 2 guys coming back from multiple kind of injuries and surgeries. How often can they pitch? Can they even pitch more than 1 inning really successfully every week? That could be another issue as you keep dipping into the depth of the bullpen with more guys like Jeffrey Yan to use up his arm. It's one of those curiosities. But overall, what do you guys think? Because offensively, yes, they just got shut out, but you have to believe the offense is going to continue to succeed. The young bats are trying to establish themselves. Benj and Ewing continue to produce even on the field, at the bat, everywhere. Then you have guys like Francisco Lindor. Yes, he's hot all of a sudden. Not much of a surprise. He just needed the reps. You have Bichette, who continues to be hot for weeks and weeks now. Then what do you do with guys like Jorge Polanco and Luis Robert Jr.? Maybe they eventually start hitting when they have enough reps for the end of the season. You have the mercurial one in Francisco Alvarez, who at any moment can hit a home run in between strikeouts and hitting into double plays. They could still have enough offense to win. I think the issue is going to be all of the pitching. You're not really going to necessarily know what to do for the rest of the year with the arms. But still brings me back to my question. Will they end up with a top 6 pick? There are a few games securely in it right now, but there's extra rules. There's a new lottery system anyway with the draft picks at the top. Maybe the Mets can fall anyway, even if they finish in the top 6. It's going to be confusing. But do you guys, in general, do you want or not want a tank to secure an actual top 6 pick? As we've seen in recent drafts, the Mets seem to be doing pretty well overall. But when you have lower picks, less slot money, you have less kind of home runs. And that's why in this recent draft, you saw Stearns going with a lot of gamble picks, even with Wiggins all the way at the top, because that all the way at the top is in the late 20s in the first round instead of being in the top, echelon of it. That's why decisions have to be made. They might be going more for gambles because of that. What do you guys want? Do you want them to win no matter what? Hey, I'm watching. I want to see my favorite team win games. To heck with it. I've seen people online tell me, you know what? I don't care. There's so much youth now. A new core is building. I want to see them win together regardless of the pick. We'll figure it out. We still have Steve Cohen's money in free agency anyway to make up for the differences. And you have guys like Benj, Ewing, Thornton, Christian Scott, McLean, all of these guys on minimum wage contracts. So it's going to help to buy other guys and buy the depth. You guys let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching.